Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle, me, in my series Freemasonry and Satanism. Up to 181 in my series. Let's take a look at this book. Big, thick book by a well-known writer, Graham Hancock Robert Bauval, probably saying his name wrong. Talisman, Sacred Cities, Secret Faith. So a talisman is like a magic charm to ward off evil or bring special powers of magic to the holder. Talisman. So what do you think about the Statue of Liberty on the front of this book? Is it a talisman? Who gave the Statue of Liberty to the USA? Wasn't it the French Freemasons? Then we all hear about separation of church and state. But apparently the secret societies, the Freemasons, Illuminati, Rosicrucians, Council of Foreign Relation, Bohemian Grove, Bilderberger Groups, Club of Rome, High-Level Vaticans, Jesuits, Zionist, these elites control our world, and they do have a religion. They don't want you to know about it. That's why they swear under oaths of threat of death to not expose the secrets, the mysteries, the occult, the witchcraft, the sorcery. Now we got the crazy things going on, dumping chemicals in the sky, fluoride in the water, microwave transmission systems coming online with even greater powers, the 5G network, the HARP transmitters, strategically located all over the world, Alaska, Puerto Rico, Norway, like a big zipper, triangle locations, to transmit sonic pulses or microwave signals bounced off of the ionosphere. Controlling the weather, mind controlling we the people. MK Ultra, Project Paperclip, Project Montauk. So many of these projects, black operations, designing plagues and viruses in laboratories, creating all kinds of weapons. You can go look on the internet. Laser beams fired from aircraft carriers or planes, and directed energy beam weapons, Judy Wood says, were likely responsible for the buildings free-falling on 9/11. And on YouTube videos, apparently the fires in California, there's evidence of directed energy weapons. Hurricanes in Texas and Florida in 2017 seems like weather control. And all this other crazy stuff. Shootings. Apparently there was a shooting in a church yesterday. This is the 17th of December 2017. And a couple days ago, another school shooting. And it just goes on. And even in the press, it says never-ending shootings. You know, at some point, government's going to say, we just have to take all the guns away from the people to stop this. And the masses of citizens will go along. Memory is short. And they did that in other countries, China, Russia, Germany. After they disarmed the people, then the slaughter began. And there is a religious component to this. That's why I thought I'd look at this book. And I have this other document here I really haven't reviewed too much. But the evidence is overwhelming. You can go look this up. Please do. Lucifer occult symbolism of the Statue of Liberty. And you saw the link there. You can look this up. I, Jesus, Revelation 22-16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify unto you that these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and the morning star. So this article here says, do you really think this is the face of a woman? Do you really think that it represents freedom? Think again, for this is Lucifer, the light bearer, the phosphorus, Prometheus, the Lord of this age and the ages to come, the light of the world, the morning and bright stars, says Jesus in its true garment. So what are we to believe? I have so much more. Here's another interesting thing I found. How fast does the earth move? You can go look this stuff up. So if I read this thing on the bottom here, I was watching a video, and they said some things that I thought was astonishing, so I had to go look it up. You can go look up this document at livescience.com. So how fast does the earth move? And would the answer surprise you if I told you the number was 666, the mark of the beast? There's a big argument out there. Are we on a sphere hurtling through space, turning at 1,000 miles an hour, and flying around the sun at 66.6 thousand miles an hour? As passengers on Earth, we are all carried around the sun at a mean velocity of 66.6 thousand miles an hour. I couldn't believe it. Now, I've mentioned this in previous videos because I wondered about that, because of the discussion of the flat earth and other issues. So I went online and looked up the formula, 186,000 miles an hour speed of light divided by the formula you use to find the diameter of a circle. It's on the internet. Anyways, I came up with 66.65321, whatever, 666. And it just blew me away. I said, no way. This must be an intentional thing. It must be a part of the deception, this Luciferic beast religion, Satanism. So could the whole idea of aliens in space have coming to Earth and created us, fallen angels mating with human women, found them fair, or Anunnaki aliens from Nibiru? And then conveniently, the Earth is spinning at 66.6 thousand miles an hour, going around the sun in 1 year. Add to that dizzying notion the fact that we're spinning at the equator at 1,000 miles an hour per clip, an action that causes the planet to bulge outward. So apparently, we either really look like a egg shape because of the spinning, not a circle, or we look like a pear because they say the bottom half of the planet is wider, well, it'll bulge. But when you look at the pictures released by NASA, they're all perfect spheres. Where's the egg shape? Where's the pear shape? A bit of a deception, you think? So anyways, I was looking at this thing about Lucifer occultism, and there's quite a bit of information here I need to really thoroughly review. But here's one picture on that document of the rainbow, the New Age. Looks like Noah's Ark there. Kind of some crazy connections, you think? And beings with wings like this, which will make sense in a little while when I show you a couple clips of videos from Super Bowl halftime shows or Emmys, Grammys, tunnel openings, and CERN. Remember the wings and the symbols here. Let's look and see if I got any more pictures here. It's a fascinating conversation trying to figure this stuff out. You can go look up this document. Gets crazier. Lucifero. Look at the spikes around his head. Then, of course, they got the spikes around the Statue of Liberty's head. Get it? Got it? And then Mithras, this other god, I've gone over that video. Series 159. I'll be looking at Mithras again. Just trying to find out what's going on. There's a little letter here on this document. To whom all it may concern, be it known that I, Auguste Bartholdi of Paris, in the Republic of France, have originated and produced a design of a monumental statue representing liberty enlightening the world, being intended as a commemorative monument of the independence of the United States. And I hereby declare the following to be full, clear, and exact descriptions of the same, referencing being had to the accompanying illustration, which I submit as part of this specification. The right arm is thrown up and stretched out, with a flamboyant torch grasped in its hand. The flame of the torch is thus held high above the figure. The arm is nude. The drapery of the sleeve is drooping down above the shoulder, and voluminous folds. In the left arm, which is falling against the body, is held a tablet upon which is inscribed 4th July 1776. Notice the spike on the head there, like that other picture of Lucifero. And there's more pictures here in this document. So what is this religion? Is there something we should know? I think there is. So anyways, I'm going to look at this book, and obviously just a few pages, time permitting, and I have some clips of some other videos that I want to attach to the last part of this video. Anyways, on the back of this book, and by the way, I went on abebooks.com, a used book site, and there are many used book sites like Alibis or Cheap Books, etc. And for $4 or $5, $6 free shipping, you can get this big, thick, voluminous, encyclopedia thick book. Cheap price, $3.50, $4. Just go online, A-Books, search for this, Graham Hancock Talisman. You'll see it and have it in a few days. So you can read for, and look up some of Graham Hancock's videos on YouTube, either being interviewed or having a lecture, or Robert Bauval. That's what I do when I read these books. I also go watch some of the videos so that I may be more aware of what they say and maybe try to get a glimpse of what is the truth. Why was a 200-ton ancient Egyptian obelisk raised in front of the Vatican in Rome? I mentioned a lot of these things in my videos. The obelisk is a phallic symbol for Osiris. Why would that be in front of the Vatican? And a cross placed on its top, which by design or strange coincidence created the hieroglyph that denote the name of Anu, Helopos, the ancient Egyptian city of the sun. So maybe by the time I'm finished with this video, we'll have a little better idea of this religion, of this sun worship, Isis, Osiris, Horus, the all-seeing eye, also on the US $1 bill and on federal buildings. And apparently these symbolisms are everywhere all over the world. Why did Benjamin Franklin become the venerable of the elitist Freemasonic Lodge of the Nine Sisters in Paris? Who were the other mysterious 400 members? Why was Voltaire initiated there? So I've been going over these topics in my Encyclopedia of the Arts and Sciences, 1803, Series 174, Masonry Illustrated, published in 1905, 171 in my series. And Freemasons, The Lost Keys, 173. Traders and Carpetbaggers in Israel's 172. The Controversy of Zion, 170. Radical Zionism, 169. Looking at my bookcase here. The Samson option, Israel having nukes, threatening to nuke the whole world if we try to stop them. Series 168, the Israel test, 167. And so on. Fallen Angels, 157. Voices from the Cosmos, 160. Aliens Among Us, 163. The Eye of the Centaur, 164. So I've got, this will be 181 series, and a lot of these books I made multiple videos. So I'm approaching 450 videos on YouTube, some of them my sky spraying videos. A lot of my videos are 2 hours, so well over 600 hours of material on YouTube of me going over all these books for 4 years and reading books for almost 10 years before I started making videos. I thought I would research and then write a book or two of my own, but somehow things happen, I guess, and I just started making videos so I could share the information that I had acquired. Show people that these books are out there. Maybe help enlighten the world and have people wake up that there seems to be some demonic satanic forces at work that are behind these secret faith. So it says right here, secret faith. Why would their religion be secret unless it was demonic? Fallen angels, deception, sacred cities, talisman, Statue of Liberty. Is the Statue of Liberty a gigantic magic amulet influencing the United States? Like the street plan for Washington, D.C. is in the shape of a giant owl. Even on the lamppost giving you directions to the subway entrances is the picture of an owl. They make fun of it. The owl is Moloch, demonic god that they sacrifice humans to. Back of the books. What was the huge statue of the Egyptian goddess of Isis raised in the Place de Bastille to represent the goddess of liberty? The Statue of Liberty, the goddess of liberty, Isis, during the French Revolution. Why did Napoleon Bonaparte have a similar statue of Isis and her star added to the coat of arms of Paris? Why was a 3,500-year-old obelisk taken from the ancient Egyptian sun temple at Luxor and raised in the heart of Paris? Why did French Freemasons give America a giant goddess of liberty for New York Harbor? The famous Statue of Liberty, which had originally been planned as a statue of the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis, to stand at the entrance of the Suez Canal. Why did Francisco Mazarin commission a glass pyramid modeled on the Great Pyramid of Giza for the bicentennial of the French Revolution? Why was Franklin Delano Roosevelt a 32nd degree Freemason? Why did he commission a glowing pyramid with an eye for the $1 bill? Why was Harry Truman a 33-degree Freemason? And why did he help create the new state of Israel? You can see it's all connected. 9/11, World War I, World War II, French Revolution, destruction of Christianity, for some secret faith, a mystery religion. Why did George W. Bush take the presidential oath on the Masonic Bible of the Grand Lodge of New York? A big, thick book, published in 2004, I believe, initially. And let's see, how many pages? 550 pages. So I'm not going to read very much, but I will be adding some videos. There are some interesting pictures in this book I will share. Here's the Beban stone of the pyramid of Amenhotep III. I suppose that's one of the pharaohs over there in Egypt. At the Egyptian Antiquities Museum in Cairo. Note the eyes at the center of the pyramidal, and the latter said to have been originated covered with gold leaf. And on one of these ceremonies, like a Super Bowl halftime show, you're going to notice these circle with the wings and the eye and the eyes. Remember this when I show you the videos. The wings, the circle, and the two eyes. And over here we got Francois Edward Picot's 1827 painting on the ceiling of room 30 of the Louvre, I guess over there in France. The unveiled Isis on a throne flanked by lions. Remember the lion, Katy Perry, Super Bowl halftime show. Remember the lion when you see the videos I'm going to show you. Contemplating the landscape of the pyramids and an obelisk. Isis, Egypt. Isis sitting on the throne. Beings with wings. Remember the beings with wings when you watch the videos. And here we have a obelisk at the Vatican. Why would they have an obelisk? The Egyptian symbol for the sun god religion, Isis, Osiris, and Horus, at the Vatican. And of course, the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. is a huge obelisk. Lots of whys. The coat of arms of Paris, commissioned by Napoleon in 1811, showing the Isis on the prow of the boat and her star Sirius leading the way. So you're going to see this coat of arms and the ship. You know how sometimes on the ship they have a female being made out of wood guiding the boat, and then the star would be Sirius. And then the hermetic caduceus, the stick with the snakes around it, going through the crown, and then the phoenix on top of the crown. And remember the phoenix when you watch the videos I'm going to attach at the back of this video. The Phoenix Rising, sung by Conchita Wurst during the 2014 Eurovision contest, which is like the American Idol contest. The symbols are everywhere. So you can see the ship with the woman on the front and the star of Sirius up in the sky, the caduceus going through the crown, the phoenix on top of the crown, and the snakes around the caduceus going through the crown. I've been studying these symbols for quite a while. The crown supporting the imperial eagle. And apparently they build all these cities so that at a certain time of the year, the sun can be seen through the archway. Look at that one on the top and see the sun in the archway? And they have these arches in all these cities. See the sun in the archway? And the street plans are laid the same way. So that they align with the sun on a certain day. Here's one. The archway and the sun. So what do you suppose all this means? That was the Grand Arch. And the sun shines through there on the 24th of June, St. John's Day, celebrated by the Freemasons as the New Year. So, all right, I'm going to read from this book a little bit and then add some videos to the end of this video. Well, I'm convinced there's only one way to get a handle on what's going on in our reality, why we're seeing some of the things we see. And that is just by going over numerous books and having the conversation. And I really appreciate the people who leave comments and who have given me a lot of additional information. And I've pursued that information, even purchased those books or obtained them by the PDF online and made videos on those books. So together, maybe we can get somewhere. I can't see that one guy could ever even think to try to figure this out. But together, maybe we can. And there's a lot of people out there trying to get the truth out. Of course, there's a lot of people out there trying to stop the truth from getting out. And one of those actions seems to be taken by the government. And there's threats of the internet being pay for play and censored information. So it might behoove people to download my videos should they disappear. Page 18. Like I said, I'm just going to read a little bit from this book and have a conversation. Hopefully we gain something from it. Page 18, designer cult. So you got a designer religion. What's a cult? Robespierre's cult of the supreme being. So Robespierre's, and I'm probably saying his name wrong, Robespierre, famous philosopher, intellect person back then, during the French Revolution, the latter part of the 1800s. But in this case, it's 1794. So Robespierre, cult of the supreme being, was officially installed in France on 7 May 1794. A little more than a year. Okay, so the French Revolution was in the latter part of the 1700s. Excuse me. A little more after the beheading of Louis XVI. By then, the de-Christianization process had taken its toll, with the clergy abdicating en masse and many Christian places of worship converted into temples for a new revolutionary cult. And that is what I believe is going on right now in the United States and the world, Europe. Although a staunch anti-cleric, Robespierre was not an atheist. He was to present a report at the convention on the principles of political morality, which must guide the convention in the administration of internal affairs of the Republic, in which he states the idea of a supreme being and the immortality of the soul is a perpetual reminder of justice. It is thus social and republican. The convention agreed, decreeing soon after, the people of France recognize the existence of a supreme being and the immortality of the soul. A deist in the mode of Rasoul, Robespierre firmly believed that the true basis of a new democratic state should be a natural religion, one that was intrinsic to the human condition, one that could root the virtues of the nation to eternal and sacred foundations. It was proposed that the cult would consist of celebrations and gatherings throughout the year. Robespierre wanted 36 festivals in all, devoted notably to the important events of the Revolution, such as 14 July, to various entities and concepts such as a supreme being, nature, liberty, and equality, and finally to the virtues most useful to man, such as truth, patriotism, and so forth. And again, I've gone over the Encyclopedia of Arts and Sciences, 1803, Series 174, Masonry Illustrated, 1905, published, 171, about the Masonries and the Illuminati. And they say some of these nice words, like truth, patriotism, and so forth, but in those encyclopedias, it is admitted that it is a deception. They do not believe what they preach. They have to say things that people will gather around to get the mob incited, full of hate, to go raid the castles and the wealthy persons and undesirables and have them all murdered. That's how you bring about a revolution. You create the divide. As part of Robespierre's cult, the old Gregorian calendar was abandoned in favor of a Republican calendar with the months given in natural names. The new calendar was divided into 36 decadi of 10 days, producing a year of 360 days, to which were added 5 complementary days, commemorating virtue, genius, labor, opinion, and rewards. Well, that seems similar to an ancient mystery religion calendar. It is indeed odd to discover that the Republican calendar appears to have been modeled on the ancient Egyptian solar calendar. So it is on the ancient Egyptian Isis, Osiris, Horus religion, worshiping a sun god, which was divided into 36 decans, each of 10 days, producing a year of 360 days, to which 5 additional days were added to commemorate the virtues of Osiris, Isis, and other divinities. The authors of this book are well-known authors, published many books. Smarter than me, I just read and study, use my own common sense to interpret. Lalande in Sirius, the Sirius dog star in the sky. The task of developing the Roman calendar was given to Charles Gilbert Romy, a respected mathematician and president of the Committee of Public Instruction. According to Masonic historian Charles Summer Lowbringer, Romy was a prominent Freemason of the Nine Sisters Lodge. Romy was assisted in technical matters by the mathematician Gaspard Monge and the astronomer Joseph Louis Lagrange. Monge, too, was a staunch Freemason and a prominent member of the Nine Sisters Club, which in turn had been founded by the astronomer Joseph Lalande, who had served as director of the Paris Observatory since 1768. Lalande and astronomer historian Charles Duponius sat on the committee established by Romy to create a new Republican calendar. Duponius was a firm believer that all religious ideas stemmed from the ancient Egypt, and the more particularly that the city of Paris was somehow associated with the Egyptian goddess Isis. We shall return to this later. Meanwhile, David Oveson, in his intriguing book, The Secret Zodiac of Washington, D.C., makes the most revealing comment concerning Lalande during the obituary ceremony for Voltaire at the Nine Sisters Lodge on November 1778. The Secret Zodiac of Washington, D.C. Remember, the street plan looks like a gigantic owl. The demon god Moloch, if you look up the picture on Yahoo image site, you'll see Moloch with his arms outstretched as a gigantic bull, and they're feeding him children to eat. or a gigantic owl like the Bohemian Grove, where they throw the baby in a fire under the belly of the gigantic owl. Even in the Sandy Hook shooting, that one famous newscaster shows a big picture of an owl during the information about the Sandy Hook school shooting. Boston bombing at 666 Boylston Street. If you pay attention to this stuff, you can connect the dots. All right, back to the book. The French astronomer Joseph Lalande, so used to standing in the darkness while looking up at the stars, would probably have thought of only one star as he stood in the darkened Parisian room on 28 November 1778 in his capacity as master of the Lodge of Nine Muses, the Nine Sisters. Lalande was mourning with his brothers, of which was the American Benjamin Franklin, the passing of the writer Voltaire. So I'm going to have to get Voltaire's book. I probably have one or two, and make a video on his philosophical teachings. Seeing that all these other Freemasons like Benjamin Franklin, who used to go to the Hellfire Club, where the activities were to do immoral acts. That's what the Hellfire Club members did. They wanted to do things immoral. Were they involved in womanizing, homosexuality? What kind of immoral things were they up to at the Hellfire Club? Go look into it. You'll find some answers. All right, so among symbols guarded by the 27 brothers was the pyramid. As he gazed at the pyramid, Lalande would almost certainly have been drawn to thinking about the star Sirius, an astronomer who had shown great interest in the ancient orientations. He could not help realizing the importance assigned to this star by the ancients. I've gone over books about the Sirius star. So it's part of some cults, the dark star, the black star, the dark star. Gone over several books where that was the theme of the book. And of course, they talk about the Palladian star system, the 7 stars, or the Orion star system. So many of these as part of these secret mystery school teachings. If the Egyptian pyramids were not aligned to it, he knew full well that a large number of the Egyptian temples had been, and that an entire Egyptian calendar was regulated by it, the Sirius dog star. So a lot of people know now that the pyramids are lined up even with Orion's belt at a certain time of year, and apparently a lot of them are lined up with the dog star, Sirius. In his 4-volume study of stellar lore, Lalande had listed 6 alternative names for Sirius and gave its position in 1750 with remarkable accuracy. His interest was almost personal. He would have known that in the horoscope of his own birth, the Sun and Mercury were bracketed by this powerful star. Oveson also points out that Lalande's involvement with and deep admiration for Voltaire make it likely that he would have been familiar with Voltaire's book Micromegas, published in 1752. Oh my, another book I'll have to acquire. In this curious work of fiction, Voltaire set the home of the hero in the star Sirius and prophetically noted that this star also had a satellite, a fact only discovered to be true in 1840. Trying to remember which book I made that series on. By Prussian astronomer Frederick Bessel. Sirius, of course, was also the star identified by the ancient Egyptian with the goddess Isis, And again, Lalande would have known this. Indeed, so interested was Laurent and Dupontis in the goddess Isis that one of their colleagues at the Académie des Sciences could not help commenting, M. Dupontis and Lalande, violent Isis partout. And what that means is Misters Dupontis and Lalande see Isis everywhere. There is another connection with Egypt and the Republican calendar which needs to be mentioned. The mathematician Gaspard Monge, who worked out the mechanics of the calendar, was a keen student of Egyptology. Through his close friendship with Napoleon Bonaparte, whom he accompanied to Egypt in 1798, he was to found the Institut d'Egypte in Cairo. Like many Freemasons of his time, Monge believed that Masonic rituals had originated in ancient Egypt, and that modern Freemasons had inherited ancient Egyptian secret system of initiation and symbolic language. So all these secret societies based on the secret mystery religion come from this Egypt area, it appears. Even today, confirms a modern historian, Masonic historian, many Freemasons consider that the Masonic order draws from its mysteries from the Pharaohs, Egypt. It was thus that they refer themselves to Osiris, Isis, symbols of the supreme being and universal nature. So I think eventually, before I'm over with this video, I'm going to be connecting quite clearly this with Lucifer, Satan, and demons, this supreme deity that everybody is supposed to worship, with the obelisk, the phallic unit. Celebrations and iconography. The first official celebrations held in honor of the supreme being under France's new Republican calendar took place on 8 June 1794. At the heart of the proceedings, organized by Robespierre's close friend, the artist Jacques-Louis David, was a huge amphitheater in the Tuileries Gardens in front of the Louvre Palace. I guess that's a famous palace in France. There, the official congregation gathered to listen to a sermon preached by Robespierre in honor of the supreme being. So people don't want to believe the Freemasons have a religion. At the close of the sermon, David had arranged for a dramatic burning of a Haitian cloth statue representing atheism, from which emerged, like a phoenix from the flames, a stone statue representing wisdom. So here we have the word phoenix rising from the flames. And in the videos I show you, Conchita Wurst sings the song Phoenix Rising, which has the words in it, "You Can't Stop Us." Next, the choir of the Paris Opera sang, "Father of the universe, supreme intelligence, benefactor unknown to mortals, you will reveal your existence to those who alone raise altars in your name." Those who raised altars were, of course, the Republicans, and the altar in this case turned out to be a massive artificial mountain. Historian Jean Croussel calls it a pyramid. In the heart of the Camps de Mars, where today stands the Eiffel Tower. Representatives of the 48 districts of Paris, as well as those of the convention of Robespierre's, at the helm, made their way to the Pyramid Mountain, ascended by flanks. Again, when you watch these videos, I'm going to attach at the end of this video, you'll see these things. These people marching in pyramid-shaped mountains, Rose spears then raised on the summit next to a symbolic Tree of Liberty, while patriotic hymns were sung at the Paris Opera Choir, by the Paris Opera Choir. Tree of Liberty. Let us note that the iconography of the revolution, let us note that in the iconography of the revolution, the all-seeing eye, or the eye of vigilance, was often shown above the Tree of Liberty, while at the other times it is also seen within the glowing triangle or the pyramid hovering above the scene. And of course on the US $1 bill, it's right above the triangle with behind it a blazing sun, much like the symbols seen today on the US $1 bill. I have pre-read all this stuff. The symbol, in fact, was originally designed for the so-called Great Seal of the United States in 1776 by a committee that included Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. The very same symbol was also to appear in 1789 on the frontispiece of the Declaration of the Rights of Man, drafted by Marquis de Lafayette, a close friend of both Franklin and Jefferson. The symbol clearly represents the Supreme Being, of the Republicans and by extension the Masonic Grand Architect of the universe, that some call Lucifer. Also depicted as a pyramid with the all-seeing eye or the eye of providence. So is the Horus, son of Isis and Osiris, also supposed to be Lucifer as depicted by the all-seeing eye on the $1 bill? In one propaganda poster, which has survived from 1789, Revolution, the all-seeing eye is portrayed above the words Urtu Supreme, i.e. Supreme Being, which confirms the link between the two ideas. In this poster, the eye is not without a pyramid, but inside a social disc from which shoot down golden rays of light on the people and the Republic. So you see a lot of these golden rays, even in corporate symbols. It's a symbol they use everywhere, even the all-seeing eye and the pyramid. But we've all seen them. Anybody who pays attention even a little bit has seen these things. There are two figures at the bottom of the poster, and one on the left is the aging Voltaire, the philosopher, and one on the right is Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the two intellectual heroes of the revolution. So apparently, according to the two encyclopedias I went over, Masonry Illustrated, 1905, and Encyclopedia of the Arts, 1803, about the Illuminati and the Masons, they were also extensions of the Kabbalist Jewish folks and the Illuminati, and were responsible for bringing about the French Revolution. And it was the winners of the French Revolution who took over France, who later brought the Statue of Liberty by the French Freemasons to the United States, which a lot of people believe is Hermes or some kind of deity other than a woman representing actual liberty. It's more like a talisman, like it says on this book here. So if they're creating some kind of satanic culture in the USA representing Hades, hell, then the Statue of Liberty, Hermes, or Lucifer, would be welcoming all the people of the world to hell. Wow, if that's the case. This sort of iconography and rhetoric is strongly suggested of an attempt to push forward some kind of deist cum Masonic religion as an alternative to Christianity. I get vindicated from the conclusions of all my research going on 14 years, starting 2018. And a lot of books I've read, a lot of hours of videos. So, I question myself. I'm a normal guy like everybody else. I want to try to see if I can understand what I'm talking about. Then I read books by people like this, and they're saying what I have concluded. And the symbols are everywhere, as you'll see in the videos at the end of this video. And as British historian Nigel Ashton remarked in his book Religion and the Revolution in France, the belief in a supreme being permitted enough variations to accommodate many tastes. Ashton quotes the patriot Lazare Cornut, a Freemason and also a member of the convention, who made a speech in 1794 extolling the many virtues of mankind and explained, these are things to be found in the Supreme Being. He is the seal of all thoughts which make for the happiness of man. All right, so meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, the USA, there's another paragraph here to read before I finish this page. This perhaps unpremeditated association of the Supreme Being with the idea of a seal brings to mind the Great Seal of the United States, which not only displays the Supreme Being with the symbol of the glowing pyramid and the all-seeing eye, but also an icon of the individual's constitutional right to the pursuit of happiness. On 18 September 1793, just a few weeks after the festivals were to be staged at the Palace de la Bastille by David, another sort of ceremony, this time blatantly Masonic, took place across the Atlantic at the site of the future capital in Washington, D.C. Wearing a Masonic apron given to him by Marquis de Lafayette, George Washington laid the cornerstone of the Capitol on Jenkins Hill during a ceremony attended by hundreds of Freemasons. The Masonic apron worn by Washington, which had been embroidered by Mimi de Lafayette, contained an assortment of well-known Masonic symbols, but its centerpiece was undoubtedly the all-seeing eye, emblazoned by a radiating sun disk. Interesting author David Oveson, a Freemason who had conducted extensive research into the meaning of this Masonic ceremony, concluded that it was, among other things, primarily intended to consecrate both this building as well as the federal city to the zodiac constellation of Virgo. Here we go. Astrology. The idea of Virgo plays an important role in the astrological symbolism which dominates the city. Astrological symbolism dominates the design of Washington, D.C. How many people know that? I have also examined two foundation ceremonies in which the Virgian element was of considerable importance. By taking this approach, I might have given the impression that the sole Masonic concern in these early years of the building of the federal city, Washington, D.C., was with Virgo, the constellation. The importance of Virgo and her connection with the goddess Isis has been recognized in Masonic circles from the very early days of American Masonry. The French astronomer Joseph Lalande had been an important Mason, and his writings were widely read by Americans of the late 18th century. As early as 1731, Lalande had recognized that the Virgin is consecrated to Isis, just as Leo is consecrated to her husband Osiris. And Leo, of course, is the constellation Lion. So when you see the videos I show at the end of this reading, you'll see Katy Perry on a lion. The Sphinx, composed of a lion and a virgin, was used as a symbol to designate the overflow of the Nile. They put a wheat ear in the hand of the Virgin, to express the idea of months. In his book, Inside the Brotherhood, author and Masonic researcher Martin Short had this to tell us about George Washington's affiliation of Freemasonry. Washington's funeral was in 1799 and had been conducted according to Masonic rites. The coffin had been draped with a Masonic apron given to him by brother revolutionary and Mason Marx de Lafayette, and many Masons present, each cast a sprig of Archaea, some kind of branch of a limb, to symbolize both Osiris's resurrection and Washington's own imminent resurrection in the realm where Osiris presides. Oh my! So they're having George Washington's funeral, and they're having a religious ceremony like Osiris's resurrection, and also Washington's own imminent resurrection in the realm of where Osiris presides. It is perhaps significant that the National Memorial, later built in Washington, D.C., in honor of George Washington, was in the form of a huge Egyptian obelisk. And that on the eastern entrance was displayed the ancient Egyptian symbol of the solar disk, the sun god. It is reported that during the dedication ceremony, a prominent Mason read a speech and after extolling the virtues of Freemasonry, added these strange words: their minds enlightened with divine love, their hearts radiant with discovering of pure love, their souls cherishing, like the ancient Egyptian worshippers of Osiris, the hope of immortality. We shall see later how many of the symbols involved with the cornerstone ceremonies of the Capitol and the Washington Memorial were veiled with symbolism involving the star of Isis, i.e. Sirius, the dog star. Meanwhile, we hope that it has become fairly evident that, for reasons and motives not yet too clear, the ceremonies, festivals, and city monuments associated with the Sister America and French Revolutionary display Masonic ideas and imagery, and perhaps even more intriguingly, are heavily tinged with Egyptian connotations and symbols. So like I said, I hope we're getting closer and closer to understanding this. Got a little bit more to read before I put the videos on this video. 5 or 6 different short clips. They should speak for themselves. Alright, continuing on, page 25, starting with chapter 2, The Lost World. Just a couple pages. Mixed with the many other currents and forces that are acknowledged to have driven the French Revolution, we have tried to demonstrate in chapter 1 that powerful religious and spiritual energies were also at play. These energies surfaced visibly in an aggressive de-Christianization campaign that saw great cathedrals, including the famous Notre Dame in Paris, reconsecrated as temples of the Supreme Being. So they were destroying Christianity and reconsecrating these temples to the Supreme Being, obviously not Jesus and even the God of Jesus. So who would that be? Throughout the land, ancient Egyptian and other pagan images were substituted for Christian symbols, notably the cross, and even ancient Egyptian deities such as the goddess Isis were venerated. The convention was thus not referring to the God of the Christians, which I said earlier. So definitely not the God of the Christians. And even during the 1920s in the United States, the U.S. Congress and Senate, after World War I, there were congressional hearings with a lot of communist people testifying. They were infiltrating all aspects of American society to destroy Christianity from within. That would be communism, which is part of the Zionism, the aristocrats of the Jewish people. And it's not all Jewish people. A lot of Jewish people have written some famous books and made some famous speeches trying to warn the rest of us. Benjamin Friedman, I've had his speeches in my videos. Famous speech by President John Kennedy, who said, "Secret societies are repugnant to the way of life in the USA, and I intend to expose it." Well, go look up Benjamin Friedman's speech, a famous Jewish person from New York. And I've made plenty of videos by famous, educated, PhD, rabbi, Jewish people who have exposed this stuff also. So it's not all Jewish people, but it is some people who have turned towards some kind of dark religion. Almost like the Star Wars movie series where they join the dark force. Or to the Christian version of the afterlife, which is affirmed in 1794 that the people of France recognized the existence of a supreme being and the immortality of the soul. So has Lucifer, Satan, or some demonic beings promised these people immortality if they join them, if their souls go with the dark side? And if you don't think that's the case, watch the videos at the end of my reading. Strange and startling though these developments were, the late 18th century was not the first time that a religion utterly opposed to Christianity, showing signs of an ancient Egyptian influence, and deeply interested in the faith of the soul, which had taken root in the land we now know as France. In the 12th century, more than 600 years before the Revolution, just such an alternative religion had materialized in Provence and Languedoc, seemingly out of nowhere. Already deeply entrenched in the hearts and minds of large sections of the population, it was also present in force in adjoining districts in eastern Spain and northern Italy, scattered in smaller communities throughout the rest of Europe, as far afield as Belgium, northern France, and Germany. The name of this religion that had so rapidly and successfully displaced the Roman Catholic Church in areas so close to the seat of its own power was Christianity. So another form of Christianity had sprung out, and it was called the Cathars, and we'll get to that in this book here in a second. At any rate, its practitioners called themselves good Christians, but the church labeled them as heretics from the moment they first came into its attention. Their contemporaries in the 12th, 13th, 14th centuries frequently called them Manichees, after the ancient dualist heresy of the Manichaeism, supposedly wiped out in Europe hundreds of years previously. So this dualistic religion, apparently preaching there's no such thing as good and evil. Everybody's just doing what they want to do. Do as thou wilt. Seems to be the philosophy that was preached by even Aleister Crowley, who changed the spelling of his name to 666. Crowley, if you put it in a numerology calculator. Eric Schmidt, CEO of Google, put that in a numerology calculator, 666. Monsanto, genetically modified foods, put that in a numerology calculator, 666. Santa Claus is 666. And I just knew that, what was his name? One of the famous politicians. I checked up on his name, and it wasn't 666, and I kept looking and kept looking. I mentioned it in previous videos. But I did find out that he had a name change, and his previous original birth name equaled 666. So the 666 is out there. Even Boston bombings was at 666 Boylston Street. So they called themselves Manichees, or they were called Manichees, from an ancient dualist heresy of Manichaeism, a previous religious cult supposedly wiped out in Europe hundreds of years previously. And they were known for a wide variety of epithets, including, and most commonly, Albigensians, called Albi, a prominent city of Languedoc, and Cathars, derived from the word Catharus, meaning the pure. So they were coming up with an anti-Christianity, anti-Jesus religion, and they were calling themselves the pure, which is also seemingly part of what they do these days. All this stuff that they do, all these organizations they create, sound very nice, but they're the opposite of nice by any stretch of the means of the word. They're quite evil. Like sustainability, biodiversity, global warming, terrorism. There's a lot of deception going on. These Cathars, the name which we will generally use here, venerated Jesus Christ every bit as much as the Catholics did. That was why they called themselves the good Christians, but the place that he occupied in their religion was radically different. In the Catholic view, Christ was the Word made flesh who dwelt among us. So as Catholics, we believe that Jesus actually walked around in human flesh and had the Spirit of God in him, like we're all spiritual beings. So how far-fetched is it to believe that in Jesus a special spirit could have been there? To me, anyways, my rationalization. It's not part of any Christian teaching that I'm aware of. But I have a good brain. I can read. I can think. And I'm convinced without a doubt we are spiritual beings. So the Christian Catholics thought that Jesus walked among us. The Cathars reputed this utterly and worshipped him as a being of pure spirit. So they refused to believe that he was actually a living flesh and blood man. An emanation of the good God, a projection or an apparition. So did he show up as a ghost? Or even like the gray aliens who can pop out of nowhere into your bedroom and abduct people, walk through walls? They categorically deny his material incarnations as the Son of God, born in a human body to dwell among us. So they were denying Jesus. So who would that be? They also forcefully rejected the Catholic teaching of Christ crucified to redeem our sins. So they don't want people to believe that if they believe in Jesus, they can be forgiven for their sins and be saved. Well, personally, I prefer to believe what the Bible says, and believing in Jesus, apparently the promise is that I will be saved. That doesn't mean I can run around and be a thief or a murderer or something. You have to have intentions and try to be a decent person, in my opinion. How could he have been crucified, they asked, if he had never existed physically in the first place? So they never believed that he actually walked in the flesh, so they're saying he could have never have been crucified. Far from revering the central spiritual symbol of Christianity, therefore, the Cathars denied the significance of the cross. For them it was an obscene instrument of torture that the Church of Rome had misled millions into worshiping as an idol. And these are the kinds of things they're trying to convince people of today. Turning the most cherished symbols, doctrines, and dogmas of Christianity upside down like this was a Cathar specialty that infuriated and repeatedly challenged the medieval Catholic Church. The source of the problem was that, unlike the single, all-powerful, and all-good God of the Christians, the Cathars were dualistic, who believed in the parallel existence of two deities. This is part of this New Age teaching. A God of good and a God of evil. Each was powerful only in his own domain and nearly impotent in the other realm of the impotent in the realm of the other. So the evil could rule in the evil world and couldn't do anything in the other world, and the good could rule in the good world but couldn't affect the evil world. So they would have us believe. And if you watch some of my videos on channeled material and listen to what those entities say through those mediums and psychics and channelers, you're going to recognize some of the same words I'm saying here. That's why I have to go over this stuff over and over and over and over and over. Because my thick head tries to resist understanding this. So I can see how everybody else would be confused. The domain of the God of good was entirely spiritual, intangible, immaterial, and filled with light. It was here that human souls had originated. The creation of the good God. The domain of the God of evil was the earth itself, the material world, and all physical life upon it. An infernal place of pain, punishment, filled with darkness and iniquity. In the Cathar scheme of things, it was the God of evil, the maker and ruler of the material world. And even in the Bible it says that Satan takes Jesus to the top of the mountain and says, "Get on your knee to me and I will give you all of this," the material world. And Jesus said, "I don't need all of that. In my Father's kingdom there are many mansions in the spiritual realm." So apparently the satanic forces rule on earth. And people who choose, in my case, Christianity and Jesus, as taught by Jesus, and some people can call him a prophet or son of God. So we get the word from the spiritual realm telling us how we are to believe, like the 10 Commandments. And Jesus, in this case, says, "If he who believes in me shall be saved." And I'm not an Islamic Muslim person, so I'm not quite sure what their prophet and their religion teaches. And I'm not disparaging that, or the Buddhists, or the Hindu people, and other religions. The spiritual world sent prophets to those people too, I believe, as Jesus said in the Bible to the Jews, "Ye are the killers of your prophets." So it doesn't have to be complicated. The spiritual world exists, and no matter where you are, in Peru where they had shamans, or up there in Russia, or over here in the Middle East, or wherever, the Hopi Indians, they had these shamans who went into trances, whether they used peyote or ayahuasca or other kinds of yoga or whatever, to go into this other dimension to get assistance for healing people or solving tribal problems. It's been the way of humanity since the beginning. But here it says according to these anti-Christians, these Catars, and apparently these other religions from these secret societies, the mystery religion, that the evil ruler controls Earth. I guess that would explain a lot how they can sleep at night. They think that they're doing their evil job, and everybody is here to be punished who is beneath them, because if they weren't here to be punished, they wouldn't be beneath them. I've heard that teaching before. Even in the time of Jesus, that's what they thought. If you were poor, they thought God was punishing you, and they weren't going to throw you a breadcrumb or help you. God put you there. He made you poor. It's not our job to help you. Rationalization, Psychology 101. The maker and ruler of the material world, who had fashioned the bodies, though not the souls, and mankind made of mud and water. It was towards the same evil God, Catholic preachers argued, that the worship of the Roman Catholic Church was directed. The Pope, in other words, was not a servant of the good God, but a devil's representative on earth. And the purpose of the Catholic Church was not to transmit our souls to the spiritual and light-filled domain of heaven after death, but to trick us into returning again and again in one human incarnation after another to the hell realm of the material world. So if they did put the Statue of Liberty, which is a representative of Hermes or Lucifer, and it is from the hell world, Hades, and welcoming people to America, would have a totally different kind of belief than we all believe. A talisman, a symbol, like they use everywhere. Only a lifetime of self-denial culminating in these special Gnostics or inspired knowledge, attained on initiation into the highest grade of the Catholic faith, could save us. That's what they believed. It was a revolutionary teaching in the 12th century Europe, an extremely dangerous one. Hesitating at the crossroads, another paragraph. During the period of world history for which written records have survived, most of the last 5,000 years, no scholars would seriously argue with the proposition that religions have played a fundamental role in shaping the character of civilizations and directing its course. I don't think any of us will argue with that. There have been religions since mankind has existed, even though South America was unknown to Europe. Those natives down there had a religion. The Mayans of Mexico had their temples, had a religion. Likewise, a few would dispute that the human race during this period had consistently been divided not only by different languages and cultures, but also by the competing spheres of influence of different religions. Some ancient faiths that once commanded absolute obedience across vast areas have withered away and vanished. Others that were insignificant have risen to prominence. Others still are almost forgotten in their original homelands, but have flourished in a distant land against the recent background of rampant secularism in many rich countries, rampant religious fever in many poor ones. We are left today with four great faiths commanding distinct social geographical spheres of influence that still collectively claim the allegiance of roughly 9 of every 10 of us. So there are 4 major world religions right now that take out about 9 of every 10 of us in the world. Hinduism is strong only in India, subcontinent, but there is also 800 million adherents. So India has a lot of people, 800 million. Buddhism sprawls from Sri Lanka to Tibet and from China to Southeast Asia, Japan, over 1 billion people. And of course you have Islam, has hundreds of millions of followers from Indonesia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, Levant, North Africa, but its heartland and historical home is on the Arabian Peninsula, and as we all know now, has been literally destroyed or being destroyed since the Zionist Jewish folks have obtained the Palestinians' land, created the state of Israel. So 9/11, World War I, World War II, French Revolution, all these things had to do with taking control, gaining power, destroying the Ottoman Empire, and bringing about some kind of prophecy. And the Jewish people want to rebuild King Solomon's temple. And of course, Christianity has a near monopoly in the Americans, having obliterated or utterly marginalized all the New World's indigenous faiths during the past 500 years. And sadly, that is the truth. Take the American Indians and the other cultures in Central South America and other places all over the world. Christianity from Rome was on the march. It also predominates in Australia, New Zealand, Sub-Saharan Africa, and other areas of former European colonial expansion. Its historical home is in the Eastern Mediterranean. However, after the triumph of Islam in the Middle East and North Africa more than 1,000 years ago, Christianity's heartland moved to Europe itself. So from the spiritual realm, I guess they sent the Prophet Muhammad to help save those Arab people from destruction. Could that be how it works? And to save the people of the world, the spirit realm sent Jesus. And over there in the Chinese area, the Asia, they sent Buddha. And maybe in India, they sent the people with the Hindu religions, prophets or gods. Just like they had in Peru, or the Mayans, or the American Indians, or the Eskimos, or the people up there in northern Baltic or Russia. The spiritual world, to me, seems to have been interacting with the material world all along. Hence Jesus saying in the Bible to the Jews, "Ye are the killers of your prophets." Prophets could communicate with the divine world and communicate information to mankind. And many prophets were executed. People didn't want to hear the message. Jesus was crucified. People didn't want to hear his message. And his commandment that he added is that we are to love one another. And so if evil reigns on planet Earth, I suppose they wouldn't want to hear that we are to love one another. It would go against their grain. Dualism. Anyways, one more paragraph and then I'm going to put some videos. And just pay attention to the symbols. Remember, we're talking about some religion of a sun god. Isis, Osiris, Horus, Lucifer, Satan, demons, horns, lions. And watch these videos and see if you can't see that the powers that be are bringing about this other type of religion opposite of Christianity, opposite of world religions, according to Aleister Crowley, series 23 in my video series. Today, as a result, it is a habit of mine to think of Europe as a region locked so firmly and for so long with the Christian sphere of influence that no other faith need be considered to have shaped its destiny. And I'm here to tell you now, when you watch these videos, our beliefs are being changed. For scholars prepared to look hard enough, there are, of course, faint traces of earlier pagan beliefs in the European heritage. So this author wrote this book in 2004. I wonder what Graham Hancock would say in 2017. You could probably go on YouTube and see him doing some lectures or being interviewed by some radio host on some videos. So there are some faint traces of the earlier pagan beliefs, but these are rarities, it says here, in throwbacks. Quaint, exotic, but no mainstream impact. So I read that, and I even wrote on this book, right, I don't believe that. I was reading that, and I said, quaint, exotic, but no mainstream impact. And these are rarities and throwbacks, and faint traces of earlier pagan beliefs. I don't think Graham Hancock is living in a cave and doesn't see what's going on now. I wonder from 2004 until now, 2017, what he thinks. And of course, I didn't start my investigation until 2005, so I wouldn't have known what I know now, and probably would have thought there was nothing really going on. There's no New World Order, there's no New Age, there's no globalism effort being put in place, and there's no depopulation agenda going on, poisoning us with toxins, and high-frequency microwave transmissions, and mind control propaganda, terrorism, threats of plagues, and viruses, and pole shifting, and deception, volcanoes, weather control. Take a look at these videos, pay attention to the details, and these are just a selected few. I could have continued to think up many more Grammys or other Super Bowl halftime shows or other events like a gigantic goat projected on the Hoover Dam, or Shiva projected on the Empire State Building, or all those rainbow colors on bridges in government buildings the evening after the Supreme Court said that states could not restrict gay marriage. How did they have all that stuff installed that evening? It was all planned. It's all for public consumption, just like these videos. Well, sometimes things don't turn out the way you planned. I did go on the internet, on YouTube, and I looked up some videos, made a couple minute short videos from these longer videos, and attached them to this video. Things like this here. Katy Perry in the Grammys, Dark Horse, Madonna, Illuminati satanic ritual, beings with horns, you can see there. Katy Perry's satanic ritual. So without a doubt, this is not my imagination. You can go look this up. I got a big, thick pile here, which I'm going to show in this video. But the way I had planned to do it, and I did do it, is I went and made some short clips from those videos online, and I attached them to this video, and guess what happened? I got some emails from YouTube. It says here, due to copyright claim, your YouTube video has been blocked. This means that your video can no longer be played on YouTube, and this would be from the Grammys. Wow. And apparently one of the videos that I had from the Grammys with the satanic rituals. So here's what the YouTube complaint looks like. That's not all. I got another email. Due to copyright claim, your YouTube video has been blocked in some countries. This means that your video is still up on YouTube, but people in some countries may not be able to watch it. Freemasonry and Satanism Book Review 181 Part 1, Talisman by Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval. and the copyright content was music, and the claim by WMG in Grooves. And more. The copyright owner using Content ID claimed some material in your video, and Give Me All Your Lovin', the song from UMG, Talisman. If there are no problems, you don't need to take any action. You don't need to delete your video. But they did block it worldwide. So the deletion from my video said when I went to look at it. So what are they trying to hide? What about the Fair Use Act? Another one here. This is just a heads up. Don't worry, you're not in trouble, and your account standing is not affected by this. But EBU, there are either ads running on your video with the revenue going to the copyright owner, or the copyright owner is receiving stats about your video views. So the bottom line is I tried to post the video the way I created it, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cancellation or blocked notices for this video I'm posting now in a slightly different way. So what I had done, and you can do too, is I simply went on YouTube and I did searches. In this case, I searched for satanic rituals at the Grammys, as you can see above there. No shortage of results. Exposing satanic 2014 Grammy Awards and a strong warning from the Lord. So we're just going to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes looking at these. Madonna's Grammys 2015, Beyonce's Grammy, Illuminati speech and performance exposed. Madonna's performed satanic ritual Grammys exposed. Proof, Beyonce Grammys performance Illuminati ritual exposed, MK Ultra. Shocking, Beyonce satanic ritual 59th Grammys 2017 devil demonic sacrifice. All right, another page here. Grammys 2017, Illuminati exposed. Hollywood vampires, satanic ritual at the Grammys exposed. The biggest Grammy conspiracy theories, Illuminati ritual at Grammys performance by Nicki Minaj, summoning a demon live on stage. So nothing's going on, is it? Summoning a demon live on stage. Another page. There was 5 pages on this one. The Grammy Satanic Illuminati Ritual. So if you're not convinced, by the time I get through with these pages in my hands, maybe you will be, and maybe you need to go look at it. But it's quite serious. Katy Perry's Super Bowl halftime show, Illuminati rumors, satanic symbols, MK Ultra, Katy Perry's satanic Grammys, Illuminati performance exposed, Katy Perry, Illuminati Rituals at Grammy Awards 2014, Satanic Ceremony and Symbolism. So many people don't go to church anymore, but they're watching the Grammys. So in a way, they are going to church, a demonic church. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to check into this. And Katy Perry performs satanic rituals. Okay. So then I took in on the Yahoo search line there, I put in satanic rituals at the Emmys. We looked at the Grammys. Emmy Awards showed 2016 Satanic Illuminati Ritual. Emmy Awards 2017 Satanic Illuminati Exposed. Exposing Satanic 2014 Grammy there. And Katy Perry performed Satanic Ritual at the Grammys. Search results for the Emmys. All right, 2016 Emmy Awards, Satanic Illuminati. Satanic Rituals Video Deep Web Exploration. And as you can see on the second one here, it's pretty grotesque. It involves sacrificing people and very explicit group orgies. Satanic rituals, and even blood. You see these pictures. Abandoned school, satanic rituals. Ghost slams door. Exploring haunted satanic forest, satanic ritual. You can't make this stuff up. Illuminati, human trafficking, satanic ritual sacrifice exposed. Here's one, how to perform a dark ritual. Why would anybody want to do that? Hidden camera, Masonic ritual, Satan worship exposed. Bohemian Grove, Illuminati ritual caught on tape. You got to pause on your computer, but you can just key in satanic rituals at the Emmys, satanic rituals at the Grammys. It gets crazier. Basic satanic ritual, scariest satanic rituals. It involves naked women laying on an altar, sometimes sacrificing them. Warning, actual human sacrifice ritual at CERN. I watched that yesterday and that was pretty freaky. The one at CERN, you might not want to watch it if you don't want to watch what looks like a real murder. Exposed Hollywood occult, satanic rituals, dark secrets of Freemasonry. Simply Levea satanic ritual tutorial. You need a tutorial on how to do satanic rituals? I just wanted to show some snippets from some of these videos, but apparently they didn't want me to do that. Satanic rituals, Super Bowl halftime shows. I got 5 pages of results from that. Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show, Illuminati rumors, satanic symbols. Beyonce Illuminati ritual Super Bowl 2013. Lady Gaga performs satanic ritual during Super Bowl. NFL and Super Bowl open, satanic rituals exposed. You getting some kind of clue here? There's a theme to this stuff going on in our world right now. Madonna Super Bowl halftime Illuminati. This was posted 5 years ago. Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show channels Lucifer, Illuminati archchemical ritual. Lady Gaga Super Bowl 2017, Illuminati halftime ritual exposed. NFL Super Bowl halftime shows satanic ritual Illuminati New World Order. New World Order. I've been warning everybody with my research. New Age globalism. It has a religion behind it, whether you think you're religious or not. It just depends which religion you want. God, Jesus, or Satan and Lucifer. Isis, Osiris, Ra. Horus, the all-seeing eye on the US $1 bill, the pyramid, the devil sign, the one-eyed sign, the horn sign for the devil, the 3-6 sign they're doing. The symbols are everywhere. You cannot deny this is true. Madonna Illuminati Super Bowl, Lady Gaga to turn halftime show into satanic ritual. That would be the Alex Jones channel. Beyonce 2013 Illuminati Satanic Super Bowl halftime show. CERN Satanic portal ritual during Super Bowl halftime show. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. And apparently, the answer is unbelievable. Super Bowl 2017, Lady Gaga's occult symbolism. Illuminati high-profile ritual. Lady Gaga Super Bowl 2017, Satanists to play at Super Bowl. Satanism in the music industry. Lucifer shows up at Super Bowl 47, Beyonce exposed. So they don't want you to go to church. They teach the kids in grade school and high school these days. Jesus is a myth. Christianity, those are just a bunch of haters, they'll have you believe. All right, 2 more here on this page. Lady Gaga Illuminati Super Bowl. Illuminati Super Bowl halftime ritual ceremony exposed. And another word I looked up, satanic rituals caught on tape. I'm just searching around for some evidence here. 10 creepy rituals caught on tape. It's got a picture of the Bohemian Grove here, where they do the cremation of care, where our politicians and elite leaders go to every summer in California. And some Alex Jones and his cameraman snuck in there, took a video. Quite spooky, throwing a baby in a fire, cremation of care, hallowing like a witch's party. Satanic ritual video, deep web exploration. I don't know if I would watch these videos. They show sacrificing of humans and naked orgies and even some other things involving pedophilia. Abandoned school found satanic ritual. Mafia initiation ritual caught on tape. Chilling poison oath. Oh, top 5 facts about Satanism. Ritual murder ceremony at CERN again. That's a spooky one to watch. Extremely scary cults caught on camera. Disturbing real-life demonic rituals caught on camera. 5 scariest and secret ceremonies caught on tape. I'm not into this stuff. I'm trying to just get the word out. There's something more to this new age, new world order globalism. Satanic ritual caught on tape. 5 disturbing demonic rituals on the internet caught on camera. Satanic ritual caught on tape. These are our youth. They're getting our children. Think about that. They're getting your children. 5 occult rituals caught on tape. So what I've been trying to find out is what is with this Freemasonry and Satanism, Illuminati, Luciferianism, Theophist Society, Luciferianism, and all these symbols we see everywhere. 5 disturbing demonic rituals caught on camera. Don't watch if you are under 18. And I'm telling you, if the young people watch this stuff, it messes with their mind. Real satanic ritual caught on tape. LeBron James pre-game satanic ritual caught on camera. Satanic ritual caught on tape going wrong. So I just wanted to show some snippets of Super Bowls and Emmys and CERN and that tunnel opening in Geneva, Switzerland, under the Swiss Alps with the demons dropping from the sky. Satanic ritual caught on tape. Insane satanic ritual caught on tape. Hopefully the YouTube doesn't block this video. Okay, Arch of Baal in New York City. Now I've said these things over and over and I keep referencing them. So I'd just like to give it some more validity and show you some evidence, which I was going to do with some videos of this stuff. The cameraman's right there by the Arch of Baal in New York or London. And I had it, but apparently they blocked the video. All right, Arch of Baal erected today in New York. So apparently this archway is situated so at a certain time of the year when you're standing on one side and look through it, you can see the sun rising. Remember, Sunday is S-U-N, and part of the Isis, Osiris, Horus religion, Ra, is also the sun god. And Lucifer is known as the light bearer. Satan could turn himself into a light being. All right, Jonathan Kahn. This is a rabbi at the unveiling of the Arch of Baal. He explains a lot of this. I was watching some of his videos. And demons show up at the unveiling of the Arch of Baal. I said it's a portal. It has the hieroglyphics or etchings on it, which are incantations or mantras. In other words, magic words or symbols. With the archway, with the light going through it, apparently creating a portal for demons. You can't make this up. See the archway? And that's Rabbi Jonathan there. His videos are quite informative. All right, the New York City Arch of Triumph, Temple of Baal, the mystery behind the Arch of Baal, the golden calf, the Arch of Baal, and child sacrifice. Reoccurring themes here. Sacrifice, child sacrifice. A golden calf. Remember when Moses guided the Hebrews away from Egypt, they stopped at Mount Sinai, and the Hebrews gathered together down below while Moses went up the mountain to talk to God and came back with the 10 Commandments, the 2 tablets. Meanwhile, the Hebrews down below in the valley had gathered together all the gold, made a golden calf, Moloch, like the Bohemian Grove with the owl called Moloch, and were having a drunken orgy to this demon Moloch god like a cow. So you'll see these symbols. Archgate replica of Palmyra's Temple of Baal in New York City signifies another step in United Nations global order. Like I said, you can't make this stuff up. See the demon behind the United Nations sign there and the arch? This stuff is real, as far as I can tell. 3 of 6 here. Arch of Baal stands in New York. The harbinger of Baal. Unveiling ceremony on the Jim Baker show. Khan calls Arch of Baal in New York City a harbinger of God's judgment. New York City is cursed city. Human sacrifice, Baal. Temple arch is here. Get ready. They're trying to warn us. You got to pause on your computer if you want to see these pictures longer. Apollyon Rising. This is where they unveiled the statue of the devil up in Detroit. And these people actually glued horns onto their heads. Satan statue unveiling during largest public ceremony in Tisha B'Av. Satanic monument unveiled in Oklahoma. Weird Satanist guy. What are they doing? Gluing horns to their heads. Alright, Satanic Temple unveils bafflement statue. Satanic statue to be unveiled in Detroit. Plans to unveil Satanic statue. Outrages Detroit's religious leaders. The Satanic Temple of Detroit unveiling of bafflement. Nah, there's nothing going on. Come on. Be calm. Don't worry. Nothing happening here. Right? Satanic statue designed for Oklahoma. Church of Satan unveils plans for Oklahoma Satan statue. Church of Satan apparently is the fastest growing church right now. The propaganda is working. People are walking away from the churches. They've demonized the priests and everything. They've infiltrated the churches like they said they were going to do in the 1920s during the communist hearings. Christians protest Satan statue unveiling. Satanic statue rises in the fallen city of Detroit. Supreme Court legalizes gay marriage nationwide. This is gay marriage legalized celebration. And I noticed the day of the announcement by the Supreme Court, cities all across the United States and the world, bridges and government buildings had gigantic displays of rainbow colors. You know, it took a while to order that equipment, install that equipment and all that. It didn't happen in an afternoon. It was planned. This is mind control. Celebrating marriage equality and LGBT Pride Month. Gay marriage supporters celebrate outside Supreme Court. Historic gay marriage equality ruling sparks celebration and debate. And what about this celebration about the President Donald Trump announcing Jerusalem is the capital of Israel? That's connected to all of this. Even putting little rainbow colors on little kids, stuff they teach them in school and on cartoons. The moment after the U.S. Supreme Court same-sex marriage decision, breaking news, Australians say yes to same-sex marriage. This is a worldwide thing. Globalism, New World Order, New Age. San Francisco celebrates Supreme Court decision to legalize same-sex marriage. Meanwhile, we get all these satanic, demonic rituals. Same people. Same media. Same symbols. Americans celebrate and legalize of gay marriage. Meanwhile, they're killing all the Arabs in the Middle East. What do you think's more important? Legalizing gay marriage or stopping the murder in the Middle East? And all the other craziness going on in the world. Weather control, directed energy weapons, terrorism propaganda, exposing the culprits for 9/11, telling the truth about World War I, World War II. So there's more here on the gay marriage thing, even that they were highlighting even the White House, or the Capitol building, with the rainbow colors. Even on the unveiling of the statue of Baphomet, the devil, in Detroit, two gay guys got right up in front of it on the videos and were making out. And look how they dress. There is something freaky going on. CERN sacrifice, another one I looked up here. Murder at CERN. This was a very disturbing video. I watched it. Disturbing. Well, like I said, watching that murder at CERN, disturbing human sacrifice video surfaces, that was freaky. Human sacrifice ritual at CERN, caught on tape full. CERN sacrifice real and filmed March 26, 2013. Human sacrifice at CERN's LHC, Switzerland, 10 August 2016. All right, more about the human sacrifice at CERN. CERN ritual, U.S. Air Force officer under attack. He identified CERN human sacrifice victim. Human sacrifice ritual at CERN. Proof CERN wanted you to see their Illuminati blood sacrifice. Full bizarre demonic Gothard tunnel opening. That was that tunnel under the Swiss Alps. Very bizarre satanic ritual. I mean, demons with horns. I'm not kidding. Ceremony, satanic, New World Order, Illuminati. What people in any sane right of mind would have a ceremony like what they're having all over the world? Football halftime shows, Emmys, Grammys, Olympic openings, Lady Gaga. Unbelievable. At CERN, at tunnel openings. Big goat on the Hoover Dam. Kali, the goddess of destruction, on the Empire State Building. In the 1950s, you know what they had highlighted on the Empire State Building and many other buildings downtown New York City? 1950s, gigantic crosses. Now we got demons. You think there's any kind of change going on? Bizarre opening ceremony at Gothard Base Tunnel in Switzerland. World leaders attend demonic ritual at a tunnel ceremony. Warning, disturbing satanic tunnel ritual in Switzerland. You can't make this stuff up. But you can look it up. May not like what you find. CERN Switzerland Satanic Tunnel Ritual. Full interpretation. The Goddard Tunnel Illuminati Witches Sabbath. With a fair use disclaimer. Maybe I had to put a fair use disclaimer on my video I previously made. 181 Part 1. This video. Satanic ceremony at opening of Swiss Goddard base tunnel. Angela Merkel, the president of Germany, exposed reptilian at the Goddard tunnel opening ceremony. Weird, possibly satanic opening ceremony for Goddard base tunnel in Switzerland. The New World Order uses satanic ritual to unveil Goddard tunnel. So some more pages. So let's just take a look at this book for another moment and I'll end this video. So I'll reread the last sentence that I had read from this book. Talisman. And apparently the Statue of Liberty is a talisman. It is a magic symbol representing something like the obelisk does all over the world. Osiris's phallic unit. And for Christian churches, of course, we have big crosses or statues of Jesus. But now they put statues of the devil up, even hugging children, or the projection of Shiva on the Empire State Building. So let me read what Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval said on the last sentence of when I started this video and I finished. For scholars prepared to look hard enough, there are, of course, faint traces of earlier pagan beliefs in the European heritage. But these are rarities and throwbacks, quaint, exotic, with no mainstream impact. Page 28. And I'm going to make more videos out of this book. The material is just off the chart. And I can't believe you can go on Abe Used Books and for $5 plus or minus free shipping, you can get this book. There are about a dozen of them available for sale. Unbelievable. No mainstream impact. Did you see the rituals I showed you? For those of you watching my video, if you have a comment, put it below. Give me a thumbs up. Apparently it shows that people are interested and more people will watch the videos. Rick Miracle reporting.